Halloween had always been my favorite time of year. The legends, the eerie chill, the glow of jack-o'-lanterns, and the thrill of walking through quiet neighborhoods lit only by porch lights and flickering decorations. That night, the moon hung low behind drifting clouds, and my friends and I, dressed in costumes that cast long shadows, headed out for what we thought was a normal trick or treat. We were probably too old to be out there, but it was tradition. The streets were nearly deserted, just a few scattered kids here and there. We laughed under our breath, our voices hushed in the still night air. One by one, we knocked on doors framed by cobwebs and graveyard props, collecting candy and awkward glances from parents. I was especially excited because my crush had joined us this year. Everything felt charged, the cold in the air, the crunch of leaves beneath our feet, the way every sound echoed in the night. At the last house, we reached a quiet cul-de-sac. The front lawn was dimly lit, and that's when I saw him, a tall man in a pale white mask and dark coat, standing eerily still near the trees. I couldn't tell if he was real. He didn't move, didn't flinch as we walked past. I dared to step closer, thinking it was just a prop. But as I passed, he suddenly grabbed my wrist, cold, firm, and whispered from behind the mask, "Tag. You're it," before darting into the shadows of the backyard. I screamed. Everyone jumped, then burst out laughing, thinking it was part of the house's scare setup. When we got to the door, I told the lady, "That guy out front really went all in. He grabbed me hard." She froze. "We don't have anyone outside," she said quietly. "You're the second person to say that tonight." A cold weight settled in my stomach. I hurried back to my friends, trying to laugh it off, but the night felt heavier now, darker. Later, a few of us looped back to that house, curiosity getting the better of us. The porch light was off. The yard looked dead. But in the distance, just beyond the fence, I saw him again, same mask, same stillness. He saw us, and waved. I panicked. My friends said it was just someone pulling a prank. But when we started walking home, I realized he was following, just far enough to blend with the night. When I shouted, "Hey, leave us alone," he vanished into the darkness. We ran. At home, I locked the doors. The warmth of the living room dulled my fear. My friends teased me, but I couldn't shake it. After they left, I sat in my room, removing makeup at my desk, when I saw it, his silhouette, standing still in the snowy backyard. My breath caught. I ran downstairs. He was at the back door, his fingers slowly twisting the doorknob. I screamed. My dad called the police, and they came almost instantly. They caught him lurking behind the shed. When they removed the mask, his face was blank, pale, his eyes wide and unblinking. Before they put him in the car, he turned and smiled, not a normal smile, but something twisted, almost pleased. That was 10 years ago. I'm 26 now. But every Halloween night, when the cold creeps in and shadows stretch long, I still look over my shoulder. Back when I was 13 and already a lanky 5 feet 10 inches, most people thought I was older. I lived with my uncle Jared, his wife, and my little cousins in a cozy hillside home nestled among tall pine trees. Nights were always quiet, cool, and ink dark, perfect for horror stories and Halloween frights. Uncle Jared ran a pool and spa repair business, but Halloween was his real passion. He loved scaring people and had a talent for building haunted mazes that truly unsettled guests. That year, one of his wealthy clients, an eccentric lady with a sprawling estate, invited us to her Halloween party, and Jared asked if I'd help in the maze. The guest house became my dressing room. I put on a blood-soaked Victorian dress, braided my hair like a ghostly doll, and painted my face pale with shadows under my eyes. My role was to stand under a hanging tree prop and silently distract people while Jared, dressed as Michael Myers with a roaring chainsaw, would leap out from across the maze. The fog machines were running. Soft ambient screams played through hidden speakers. We lit lanterns to cast just enough light to disorient. It was perfect. For the first half hour, groups came and went, gasps, laughter, nervous steps echoing on the damp wooden path. Then came the group that changed everything. I heard them before I saw them, slurred voices, loud footsteps. 5 men, clearly drunk, stumbled in. The cold night air couldn't hide their breath or their stench. "Oh, look at this one said, pointing at me. Another whistled. I stiffened. They surrounded me, their shadows blotting out the dim lights. "Why don't you come with us?" one asked, his breath hot against the icy wind. When I told them to back off, one grabbed at my waist. I tried to run. They cornered me. "Too good for us," one sneered. The worst part. I knew screaming wouldn't help. People would think it was part of the show. I felt paralyzed. Then came the metallic growl of a chainsaw. From behind the mist, Jared stepped out. "You got a death wish," touching my niece, he growled, his mask expressionless, chainsaw revving in his grip. The men backed off quickly, mumbling excuses. One touched my stomach with a chilling smirk before leaving. Jared barked a curse and chased him off into the dark. I collapsed in tears. That night, Jared talked to the hostess, but no one could ID the men. They had melted into the dark like phantoms. Since then, I've worked haunted attractions, but I never go on shift alone. Not in the dark, not where eyes can lurk unseen. I learned that night. The night may be for monsters, but not all of them wear masks. Halloween night in our Denver suburb always felt enchanted, like the world paused under a blanket of crisp leaves, glowing pumpkins, and a soft chill in the air. I was 12. My best friends, Josh and Tyler, lived on the same block. That year, we dressed as the Ghostbusters, complete with hand-built proton packs. We started early. Our parents followed at a distance, letting us feel independent but safe. The streetlights cast soft yellow halos over foggy lawns, and laughter echoed faintly through the neighborhood. The full moon played hide and seek with drifting clouds. After a couple of hours, our bags bulged with candy, and the streets were nearly empty. We returned to my house and climbed into the backyard treehouse, dumping our loot across the floor like treasure. Tyler needed to pee and said he'd go behind the oak tree just beyond the treehouse. Back in a sec, he called. Josh and I kept trading candy, Reese's for Skittles, Kit Kats for Tootsie Rolls. Minutes passed. 5. 10. Dude, what's he doing, digging a hole? I joked. We peeked down from the treehouse. No sign of him. The tree stood still under the moonlight, surrounded by frost-laced grass. We climbed down and walked toward it, cold air wrapping around us like a warning. Halfway there, a scream. High-pitched. Terrified. Tyler's voice. We stopped dead. Another scream echoed from behind the tree. We ran, shouting for our parents. My dad and Josh's mom rushed outside with flashlights. They searched the entire yard. Nothing. No Tyler. No signs of struggle. Just a cold, quiet yard with crunching leaves and darkness too deep for comfort. Police came. Neighbors joined the search. The trick-or-treaters had all gone home. Tyler was simply gone. Hours later, just past midnight, a knock at the door. A police officer stood there, with Tyler. He looked normal. Calm. We ran to him, asking what happened. He looked confused. Said he'd gone behind the tree, peed, and when he came back, we were gone. He assumed we'd gone inside. He never screamed. But, we heard you, Josh said. Twice. Tyler shook his head. I never said a word. No one could explain it. To this day, I wonder where Tyler really went during those missing hours, and if whatever screamed wasn't him at all.